Welcome back. Today I had two great questions about Kriya Yoga and Om Japa, and I want to dive into that. The second question especially is really going to show us from personal experience why the Om Japa is so necessary, so important, and so relevant to our meditations and our life. It's really wonderful, really, really beautiful. So let's get into it. So the first question, let's pull this apart. Namaste. Did not Lahiri Mahashaya himself give modified Kriya versions to different disciples depending on their constitution? So this is a very old argument. I want to say I've been hearing this argument for about 30 years now. So this has already been answered by the Dasgupta lineage. And you can read about it in Yoga Niketan. Read all of their writings. They're wonderful. It's not my lineage, but I have a lot of respect for that lineage. And they wonderfully answer this question, that during Dasgupta's time and during Dasgupta's students' time, it was very easy to wander around to different Kriya Yoga lineages, different Kriya gurus that Lahiri Mahashaya had made. And to a person, there was a very general set of principles which were embodied in every single lineage. Barring very, very slight variations, they were all practicing the same Kriya. So it was not so diversely spread as that little tidbit of Lahiri Mahashaya's training would lead us to believe. And I think a good way to think about that might be that you have a car and I have a car, and in general we can say those are basically the same car. They might look totally different. You might have a truck, I might have a car, and yet inside we know those are basically the same. So much so that if you go buy a new car and you notice it only has 2 gears instead of 5 or 6 gears, you're going to go back to the dealership and go, hey, what happened to half my car? It's only got 2 gears. And if the dealer says, well, every car is different, don't you know every car is different? You're going to, well, of course every car is different, but not like that. And the only way that some monks have gotten away with this argument is that people don't know enough of the Kriya history. If they did, it wouldn't be possible to get away with this argument. So going around from lineage to lineage, we can basically see there was one Kriya, one first Kriya, and it had to have Om Japa in it. How do we know that? Because Lahiri Mahashaya wrote it to his gurus, he wrote it to his students, and his own family published those letters because it was so important. They were basically revealing the technique. Large portions of the secret of the technique, they were revealing it because it was so important to Lahiri Mahashaya that people practice it correctly. Because he knew, and he said, if you practice Kriya Yoga without the Om Japa, it will become negative over time. And if you begin to investigate these different lineages, as myself and my dear friends did, you may hear again and again, as we did, the Panchanan Bhattacharya lineage kept it the most pure. And now today, people ask me, where should I go for Kriya? The lineages which I can recommend personally are all the Dubeji lineages. There may be other good lineages. I can't recommend them. The only lineages which I feel absolutely confident to point you towards are the Dubeji lineages, Maheshwari Dubeji. So let's continue the question. And do you not think that Yogananda exactly knew what he was doing and why he simplified the Kriya for the masses? God bless. No, I don't think that. I think it was a mistake. And I believe it was a very old mistake because Lahiri Mahashaya had to start countering this problem that arose very, very early. He was writing to disciples, telling them, hey, put the Om Japa in there. It's got to have the Om Japa. And I think it comes from how do we start this conversation? And everybody knows nowadays that the Kriya Yoga has spinal breathing inside of it. And I've warned against this. If you only fixate on the spinal breathing, then you will become forceful in your Kriya. If you believe you're going to shove yourself into the Sushumna, this is an incorrect idea, and it will cause tension in your Kriya, and it will stop you from going deep. I've seen it over and over again. You might not encounter it for years, but the tension will arise. It's only a beginning idea. They're trying to start the conversation. We're going to have breath going up and down the spine. That's the spinal breathing. And the problem seems to be that some students would take that and go away with it and not come back. And so you had eventually entire lineages devoted only to spinal breathing. But it is a mistake. And the results of that mistake can prove that it is a mistake when people get negative results, which Lahiri Mashaya repeatedly warned against. Then you know that was a mistake. All of that is very reasonable, and we can figure these things out when we allow ourselves to think reasonably within the realm of Kriya Yoga and the principles that we have, the low idle state, the freeze response, the tranquil breath, Om Japa in the chakras. When we begin to understand these core concepts, sitting very still, the 4 proofs, we have to know the parasympathetic is coming online. It's those principles which allow you to think for yourself. And this is very important. You know, I adore my teachers, and I bring them up over and over again on this channel because I adore them, all of them. I'm thankful for all of them. And yet one of those teachers, he told me something profoundly important. He said, never put anybody up on a pedestal so high that you can't think for yourself. People put others up on a pedestal. I will listen to this person because they are up on a pedestal. And then you don't think for yourself. And so you lose out on your own intuition, your own cognitive understanding. Even in the left brain, you lose that little bit of common sense. And that means you also lose out on the vast intuition of the right brain. Because that person you've put up on a pedestal, they've become your Buddha. And you were supposed to kill that idea. Don't put anybody up on a pedestal so high you can't think and intuit for yourself. Jesus understood that. They tried to put him so high on a pedestal. He said, hey, the things that I do, ye shall do, and greater. What is he doing? Take me down from that pedestal. I'm giving you the secrets. I'm giving them to you. You can think and you can intuit and you can find out for yourself. That's yoga. Find out for yourself. Don't put somebody else so high on a pedestal. Do the work yourself. That's yoga. Beautiful. Oh my God. It's right there waiting for you, yoga says. You can know these things. All right. Second beautiful question. Hi, Forrest. I recently bought your book and 2 courses, but haven't started with these materials yet. Perhaps the answer will be in there. Yes, it is. Still, I have a question. I've been doing chakra meditation for over 6 months now and have noticed increased stress resistance, which helps tremendously with my job, and other benefits, but also occasionally hidden, surprising emotions surfacing about certain aspects of my life and myself. Some are bringing insights and some are very difficult to deal with. I grew up in an abusive household where the entire family, including me, was codependent. And lately, I've been dealing with increased feelings of disgust, contempt, and hatred for some family members. And these feelings are bringing me to tears because I am the only one suffering these emotions. It feels like I am poisoning myself and I cannot resolve them. I've been doing this meditation before I found your channel, and essentially what it is concentrating on each chakra for a period of 5 to 7 minutes and feeling the space vibrations around it. Occasionally, I would mentally bless each chakra, and often I feel intense releases of energy around these points and energy movement along the spine. The thing that I am not doing is mentally chanting Om. Is concentration on chakras without Om chant beneficial? Or Om Japa is essential to the process? Yes, of course. I say it over and over again. It is essential. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and information. Yes, a million times. Yes, it is essential. So is it beneficial without the Om Japa? Well, yes, you have found some of those benefits, haven't you? You can clearly see some of those benefits, and yet it's bringing up the negative faster than you can deal with it. Why is that? Because you're not doing the Om Japa. The Om Japa is essential, and you're a perfect example of that. So now somebody that doesn't have a bunch of trauma in their past, it's a little lighter load for them, isn't it? And so they can go twice, 3 times, 4 times as long as you, and they won't notice these very clear negative results because the load is lighter. In fact, they may never associate the negativity that's arising in their life with the meditation that they are doing in the chakras. Because it's so light, they can't connect it directly. But you are a wonderful example of what happens when you stir up all the dust in the house, but you don't open the door and throw it out. It stays with you, and it stays longer than you can manage it. This exactly is the negativity that Lahiri Mashaya was warning about. You have to have the Om Japa. Isn't that wonderful? A perfect example. And because there's so much in your past, you're able to see directly. I did the chakra meditation. I didn't do the Om Japa. I got a negative result. So what do you do about it? Well, stop the meditation that you are doing. Only do the 3 insurance policies that I mention on this channel. I mentioned them in my book. You have my book. Wonderful. Go through the book. Do the Mahamudra. Do the Navi. And do the Om Japa in the chakras. Don't go up into the brain. Stay at the medulla and below. Only do Om Japa through the 6 chakras. And just clean it out, clean it out, clean it out. When you feel one of those negative emotions arising, oh my God, look at this. I feel it. It's right there. Wherever you feel it, Om directly into it. Om. Maybe spend 5 minutes, if you can, just with that thing that arose. Oh my God, here it is. Om. And every time you do that, you're growing the skill of the Om Japa. It becomes very, very powerful to wipe out any negativity in your life. And right now it's coming up like popcorn, right? It's a lot. So just spend time with one, and then spend time with another, and then spend time with another, and keep popping the bubbles as they arise. The negativity which you are experiencing is going to subside. It might take a little time. Please do the Navi. The Navi is essential. It's going to wipe it out much faster when you have the Navi. The Navi is the most important thing for you right now. Second most important, the Om Japa and the chakras. And third, a little bit of Mahamudra every day. Do these things every day. That's what I would do. And you will notice it will go down. And once it's down, way down, then you can go back to this chakra meditation if you enjoy it. But include some Om Japa in that chakra meditation. And then you will get the benefit and clear out the negativity which is held there because you are accessing your psychology directly through your nervous system. Do that. And you will notice in a little while, your whole life feels lighter and cleaner than it has ever felt. And that's amazing. Isn't that amazing? A perfect example why Lahiri Mahashaya said Kriya Yoga without the Om Japa is tamasic. It will lead to negative results. And when there's a bunch of trauma, it comes right up in your face. Perfect example. This is exactly what he meant. You know, for the longest time, I was trying to learn Aikibudo. I was trying to learn Aikibugai. It's a very, very difficult system. Some of these principles were very, very subtle, very, very difficult to embody. And it was sometimes mind-boggling. And Stuart Lyle, he taught me something incredible. He said, keep coming back to the principles. Keep coming back to the principles. They will always set you right. They will always tell you the next place to go. They will always show you the right way. If you try and learn it from a technique standpoint, you won't get it. If you try and learn it from some strange esoteric aspect, you won't learn it. But if you always come back to the principles, they will always guide you correctly. Why is that? Well, you're chunking right up, aren't you? You're chunking right up into what is essential. And I've given you exactly what is essential. It's right here. All the essential principles are here, and they cannot be lost. It's those very simple, straightforward principles which will always lead you correctly in meditation. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.